Hi, friends. Are there things that you do, or maybe that you should do every day without thinking? Maybe it's like, brushing your teeth or, um, I don't know, some sort of grooming or, walking or, keeping yourself moving, maybe drinking water, that sort of thing. Those are the things maybe um, that you do every day. And then there's things that you want to do every day, like drink more water and, remember to do more, maybe more exercise or better types of exercise for your body or something like that. And when we're really on task, we're actually thinking about expanding our minds and, maybe working towards specific goals, that sort of thing. But if I asked you, what's the single most important thing that you do every day? I wonder what you would say. And I think a lot of us would then say, oh, I get enough sleep at night, or I drink enough water, or I exercise. It'd have to do with our health or our sleep or nutrition and all those things, which are so important. Of course they are. But I want you to think about how important self talk really is and how you talk to yourself every day, and thinking about how critical that is to your own life. Because, keeping that positive inner dialogue, that positive self talk, is really what's going to do the most, I think, to motivate and inspire you to move towards whatever it is that you want to move towards, all those goals of better nutrition and maybe, better health, sleep, all of those sorts of things, reducing your stress. And, when you have that positive self talk, you're going to put in that effort for yourself to take care of yourself. You're going to encourage yourself. And it's going to seem like those big goals and even some of the little ones are actually more reachable, more achievable, more possible, right? It just feels better. So that positive self-talk is really important. It's like the gas that moves the car. So I just think with so much riding on what you say to yourself, I wanted to go through some tips for helping you to keep that positive self-talk going every day. So before we get into that, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nancy Brooker. I'm a relationship and stress coach. I help women who are stuck in a challenging relationship, whether it's with a partner, a child, coworker, an in-law, whatever that might be, and especially that relationship with ourselves. Just to get more clear about what's keeping us stuck, what's stopping us from moving towards what it is we want, and to bring, to help move through that and bring more clarity and ease and calm and joy into our relationships, and fun, most important, right? So let's get going with these 5 tips. Tip number 1 for keeping that positive self-talk going is really knowing what your triggers are. And I'm sure I've talked about this before. I think there's certain people, certain places, certain situations that really trigger us, and they sort of send us back into, maybe feeling like we did when we were a kid. This negative self-talk comes up, or they just raise all these negative self-images of ourselves. And I'm sure if we really thought about it, or even didn't really think about it, we could all come up with, a person, a place, a situation, a thing, whatever that is, that really triggers us. And it's really important to know what those things are and to sort of acknowledge them, be ready for them in advance. Because when we're more aware of what it is that's triggering us, we can come up with strategies of how we're going to respond when we're in that situation. We can be more prepared. What is it that we want to remember about ourselves? What is it we want to remember about the other person? How are we going to keep ourselves grounded in that situation? How are we going to remind ourselves to just really come back into that present moment, so that we can show up as our best selves? So know your trigger. I think something else that's really important is to do an inventory. Every once in a while, we need to really have a check-in, like, okay, so how am I doing with this positive self-talk? I forget the number. It's something like 80,000 thoughts a day, and I don't know, 90% of them, it's a really high percentage, are negative thoughts and repeating negative thoughts that keep going over and over again. And they're sort of at our subconscious level. We're not even thinking about them. So, really noticing when we're having these negative self thoughts, maybe doing an inventory of our day. How did today go? Like, when did I go off the rails? What did I do really good at? Well, and going back to those, what were those triggers? How can I show up differently tomorrow? What can I do differently? That sort of thing. That's what the inventory will help you for. So it's really important to reflect. Even better if you can do it mindfully in the moment, but that's not always easy, right? So that's okay. So do that inventory. Know your triggers, do the inventory. Number 3, laugh. Sometimes we just have to laugh at ourselves. We have to laugh at the situation. It's hard to stay negative when you're laughing. It just tends to bring joy into your life. So just looking for the humor and the positive side and reminding yourself that it doesn't always have to be that serious can really help with that positive self-talk. So number 4, who are you hanging around with? Are you hanging around with the negative Nelly? I'm not putting down any Nellies out there. Love you all. But, think about the people that you're hanging around with. The great motivational speaker, Jim Rohn, how did he say? You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, something like that. And that really isn't just success-wise. That's everything in your life. That's how you feel about yourself, your attitude towards other things, your attitudes towards success, of course, but just maintaining that positivity. I think we really get, I've heard the saying, I have a friend who always says, attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching? And, make sure yours is worth catching, but watch what you're catching from everybody else, because that's really important. So surround yourself with positive people. And I'm not saying you need to weed out anybody who triggers you, because let's face it, we're human. And if we tried to do that, we'd be weeding everybody out because everybody triggers us at some point. But just starting to be mindful, And of course, if you're noticing and taking inventory and strategizing ahead of time for how you're going to handle those things, then it becomes easier to be positive, right? And lastly, find inspiration. Create those positive affirmations. What is it that you want to say to yourself when you're noticing those negative thoughts coming up, that repeating dialogue? What is it that you want to remember about yourself? Keep your little list, post it on the bathroom mirror, put it by your bedside. Make sure, if you're journaling, writing in that journal about the things that are wonderful about you, things that you actually love about yourself, just to help remind you that you are okay and everything's going to be good. So there you have it. Know your triggers, do an inventory, laugh every once in a while, watch the crowd that you're hanging out with, and find some inspiration somewhere. Inspire yourself. So I think, engaging in positive self-talk is a habit that's really important for you to spend some time on. And it's not going to be easy. And it's not always easy to notice how we're thinking about ourselves. But that's the first step towards change. And every little step will bring you that much closer and will bring you that much more progress in your life. So always remember, you are awesome and amazing. And I have a quote for you. In case you forgot to remind yourself this morning, your butt is perfect, your smile lights up the room, your mind is insanely cool, you are more than enough, and you're doing an amazing job at life. I love that quote by L.K. Elliott, and I hope you enjoyed it too. I hope today was helpful for you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Join me over on my Facebook page, Let's Be Friends at Living in Yes. And if you want to connect, if you want to learn how to work together to help reduce the stressors in your life, in your relationships, to start to move forward, just send me a message, comment below, come on to my website, www.nancybrooker.ca. And don't forget to grab your freebies down below. I'm signing off. Bye now.